Just wish.
Oh no, were you asleep?
I'm
Oops.
right here. I didn't eat it. It just was.
That was an accident.
I think. I feel like. I think I was licking. I feel like I was licking the stone and I accidentally stood up. I was dreaming I was eating like.
You were licking the stone. I've been standing here for a while.
I really.
It was really gross.
So when Wisteria used to spy on me, it was creepier. So I appreciate that you're just kind of doing it the normal way, but I still feel strange.
I strive for customer satisfaction in every regard. Speaking of which, I come bearing a letter.
I just need a minute. I'm gonna.
Your listeners await. The listeners who are just listening to you make noises
Oh, great. Okay.
for like 10 minutes.
This is.
Okay, I can freestyle. Welcome to Terrell Hour. I will give you tips and tricks to being a prison guard. Tip number 1. This may sound like an obvious one, but it's actually harder to do than some people might think. Don't let the prisoners out. You'd be surprised how many prison guards fall into this easy trap. Just because the prisoners say you're their friend doesn't mean they actually think it. They might be tricking you. I have had this happen to me personally, and that's why I'm guarding a guy in a box, and I don't even have the key to the door.
I will say you were. I know it was alcohol induced, and we had just bonded over your unfortunate emotional outburst, but you were trying pretty hard to get into the room.
Like I said, tip number 1, it's a doozy.
To be fair, I don't think you were gonna let me out.
No.
But I did feel like you wanted to come in. Although, there's nothing comfortable in here, like, I get the gist.
No, well, don't worry, there's nothing comfortable downstairs either.
Oh, really? That is unfortunate.
Mm-hmm. I know, I keep asking for better chairs and my requests keep getting denied. I think the squirrel's getting lost.
Oh, I totally...
Bureaucracy, right?
No, I should let you know now, and I feel silly that I didn't mention this previously. They have sent a couple of pigeons. I did not even bother to check to see if they had notes. There's not a lot of fresh food coming here, and I made do with what I had. And I know just enough precipitation that I've been, like, cooking the...
You
probably
ate the money for my new chair!
Okay, I can make up to you. If you go out the front door of the tower, and, like, there's that road that... You go straight up, and then there's that weird tree at the split before it goes off into things. Up the tree, there's like a bird's nest, and if you knock the bird's nest off, one of the roots will move, and there's a little box there that will it has some coins in it. It's one of my stashes that should make up for.
Okay.
If I actually, because I haven't seen, I've heard of paper, like, monetary notes. But I usually work in cash, so I wouldn't have thought...
I think bureaucracies usually work in paper because it's infinitely more useless.
Yeah, and they can manage it and, like, take it away from you easier. It totally makes sense. That's what I would do if I was in charge, honestly, because, God, it's easier to get money away from people when they don't actually have it.
Truth. Well, how about you read this letter so I can forget my problems and focus on somebody else's for a change?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Thank you.
All right. Dear Guides, I genuinely like the people that I've been spending my time around.
That's a nice start.
Yeah. The problem is my nature. My kind is very driven to flirt and seduce.
You should get that.
I totally do. I hooked up with one of the people in the friend group and later found out that they are the sibling of one of the other people in the same social circle. The sibling has got a very distinct sense of right and wrong and would definitely view this as wrong. Do I not say anything? Do I address it before I'm outed some other way? The wrong move here could put me at the pointed end of a magical sword.
I've been on too many ends of magical swords. However, I gotta ask, did you write this letter? Seems like a you thing.
No, I'm not stupid enough to do that. I do my due diligence. This is a rookie mistake.
Like you were never a rookie,
I've been a rookie, but I've always been a little bit more discerning. I like to know what I'm getting involved with.
This does remind me of someone. It is my little brother. So this one day, he's in this village, as he does, and it's a really religious village. And so the religious leader of the village, has these 7 sons. Jonesy meets sibling number 1, and you know the whole preacher's kid complex, or in this case, oh why? It takes Preacher Kid and it just blows it out of the water. They just go at it, right? And so then later he's walking, well, who does he meet but sibling number 2? Of course he doesn't know at the time that it's sibling number 2. Sibling number 2's got just as much of an Acolyte's Kid complex as sibling number 1. So the whole thing starts all over again. And it happens this way through all 7 siblings. It was a damn good week for him. Sibling number 7 isn't as used to this type of thing. So he doesn't have all the practice, so of course his acolyte daddy catches him in the act. When he brings around all of his brothers to shame sibling number 7, by the looks on their faces, it's just so clear that the dad just blows his stack. It goes from a public lashing to something like 20 years of imprisonment, and all of the 7 siblings are finding out that Jonesy has been working his way through the pack, and now they're all fighting. So now it somehow breaks out into a full-on religious war. Luckily, in all of the melee, Jonesy gets away. He just skedaddles right on out of there. So my first question for this person who's writing this letter is, number 1, what is your end game here? Is it just a hookup? Are you looking for something more? Because that completely changed the game.
It makes a big
right?
difference, yeah.
It makes a big difference. Because if you're out here looking to date with the person's sibling, let's call them X, and let's call the sibling
I feel
Z.
like calling the person they're dating X is a little bit prophetic in a bad way.
Should I?
Maybe Y and Z?
It should be Y and Z. Okay, let's go with Y. They want to date Y, and Z and Y are siblings, and Z has got all that crazy religious stuff going on. All you have to do is go to Z with Y and explain your intentions. You're being very open, you're being very moral about the whole thing, it's great. Things get a little bit of a more of a gray area if you were just looking for a hookup, at which point, talk to Y and be like, hey, here's what I was thinking, let's make sure we're on the same page. I've noticed that you and Z are very close. Maybe we just keep this between us. Be very open, be very respectful with everybody involved, really be black and white with it, and then you won't start a religious war that kills, I think last count was about 10,000 people.
So many people.
He had no idea, but...
Oh. But you're right, though. I mean, as much as we like to think that there's, like, a core component to who we are as individuals and our identities, they're really nothing more than, like, sentimental projections. You always met those jerks who are like, I just gotta be myself, and this is just who I am.
There's shades of you.
Yeah, like, there's no you that has to exist. You're not special. You're not the first one of you to walk this earth. You just have to imagine a better version of you and act like that, and you'll be fine.
At this point, I would honestly love to leave town. What's that like? Never had it happen. I've been stuck in this tower for what seems like years.
I mean...
I know, why am I complaining to you,
I don't
right?
want to be presumptuous here. I know we've been kind of getting along well, but if I can figure out how to get out of here, you're welcome to join me, because I've been to some better places, and I can give you a couple tours.
I'll bring an axe next time.
We can give that a shot. But this writer reminds me of a person I stormed a castle with back in Rise and Fall. Ended up sleeping with the prince and the princess in the same week. Needless to say, once they both found out, they both completely stopped trying to restrain the wrath of their parent from trying to kill the rest of us. And because, up until then, they were trying to prevent our murder, and then afterwards they stopped bothering to prevent it. We barely survived. And stole a magic ring, like one of those rings that, like, it changes its size to fit the wearer.
Right.
It would create copper coins when you tap it.
That's a terrible magic ring.
It's a terrible magic ring, but while we were running out of the castle, I will just note that his arms were up here, and there were pennies dropping out from under his loincloth.
Ah!
I put 2 and 2 together on how that worked.
It took me a minute.
Anyway, let's wrap up this broadcast and start talking about how to get this door open.
Ooh, can I do the closing? This is Alden and Terrell. The best way to get in touch with us is to write our names, one on each side of a very large axe. Bring the axe to the tower, and then we will be happy to answer any of your questions and or dispense advice.
I like where you're going with this, and I know that we can't really do anything else because of the door being, like, the window's really small. However, we could do some mage hand stuff, at least, through the door. I think we could probably figure that out. I'm going to turn this off first, though.
Good plan. Bye!
Bye, everybody! Keep an eye out for new episodes on Sundays, and if you want to send in a letter, or if you just want to learn more about the show, head to shadedareas.com.